Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our early bird special we got going on for you for Edgenuity. We've got Chad Cochran here this morning to do a wonderful training on Edgenuity. We also have Ann in the comments to help answer questions this bright early morning. Also, just a reminder, if you're trying to follow along, you will not get your activation until the training is over. So just sit back, relax, pay attention as best you can, and watch Chad walk you through. But again, you will not get your activation until the training is over. All right. And without further ado, make sure you turn your volume up. I'll give you about 5 seconds to do that. And now that everyone's volume is up, we will turn it over to Chad Cochran.
Hey, Edgenuity Tutor. We are going to start our journey with Edgenuity Tutor in Schoology. You will log in and your students will log in through Schoology. Now you can log in another way, and that is in the instructions. So if that's the route you want to go, you can check that out, but you're still going to have to end up putting it in Schoology anyway for your students to be able to get in. So here's how we're going to start. I'm going to go to one of my courses. I'm going to go to my sandbox course. And you can see I already have one here, but I'm going to go to add materials. Remember, I'm in one of my courses. I'm not in a group. I click on add materials. I go to add file link external tool. I'm going to use an external tool, which is Edgenuity Tutor. It is already preloaded in the tool provider. You just click on the drop down and you come 3 down to Edgenuity, and then you give it a title. Then you're going to click submit and you're good. It is right there. Now, when I click on this, don't freak out. It's going to say user not found. I am not tied to eSchool, so it is not going to populate for me. I have to log in a different way. But for you, it's going to populate and it's going to say educator or student. You can click on student. We just found out this yesterday. You can click on student to see what it looks like for a student, but click on educator and you're in. Okay? Let me do that one more time. So to add Edgenuity into your course, I'm in my sandbox. I go to add material. I go to add file link external tool. I go to external tool. I come to the tool provider on the drop down. I select Edgenuity. I give it a name. I misspell it every time. And I click submit. And there it is. What I would recommend is in your course, hopefully your course is organized by folders and you have your folder set up either by 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, however have your folders, but so it's organized so a bunch of stuff isn't out there like this. But I would leave Edgenuity out if you plan on using it with all your students. Now, if you're just planning on using this with your small groups, well, then I would individually assign it to those students or put it in a specialty folder just for those students. But if it's going to be open for everyone, I would keep it outside of a folder so the access is easy. Now, I'm going to go to my Edgenuity, which I'm already logged in. This is my dashboard. And to get back to this, I always can click on the icon and it will take me right back to this. And I'm going to start off with my subject and my courses. So I'm going to go to courses and select course structure. This is for me to find out what courses I want to put my students in. The structure of this goes, you take your students, you place them into a group, and then from that group, you place them into a course. That is the structure of Edgenuity Tutor. So I'm going to go look for some content. I'm going to go to courses and course structure. Now, this can be a little confusing, but I think I've got it down. Ann always has to help me, but I think I got it. So I'm going to pretend that I'm a 7th grade science teacher. All right. So how this is broken down is each course is set up for subject, grade level, semester, and then this is the third week. So by 3 weeks, sorry. So this is the second, third weeks. And you can see it goes up to 4. This one has 3 weeks. So I guess that one's special. But, and is there a 6 third weeks? I'm not seeing any sixes. Okay, so it goes 5. So it's by 3 weeks. And so this is the second, third week. All right. So I'm going to check this one out. Oh, cool. This is what I'm teaching in my class right now. The changing earth. So how this is set up, right here you'll see this pencil and paper, and this is going to tell me what the lesson information is. Identify sources of fresh water, identify components, river system. Perfect. That's what we're teaching. I can click on guided notes, and this is what I could provide for my students to be filled out as they go through. And then for me, I can click on guided notes. Oh, sorry. I can click on teacher version, and that will provide me with the answers. So this is something I could download, something I could print, something I could take a screenshot of. Now, how the course structure works is usually it starts off with a warm-up, instructions, summary, assignment, quiz. Now, they will throw in a virtual lab sometimes and some extra stuff, but let me just show you what it looks like.
We all know that life on Earth could not exist without water. We all need water to live. And just like the water in this image, which looks super duper refreshing, doesn't it? So all organisms on Earth, they need water to survive. Oceans make up 97% of the Earth.
So you can see it plays through and it'll have a next section. So this part has 3 sections to it. And the teacher will give direct instruction and also give notes and point out important things. The student does not have the ability to fast forward. I'm told. I haven't seen that, but that's what I'm told.
Earth's water, but
so as I move through, you can see that the teacher, and I just freaked it out. You can see it's got questions at the end of the warm up, and they break down the vocabulary in the warm up. Some pretty good stuff. The instructions kind of looks the same, direct instruction. And as the student moves through, it gets more in depth. We'll do some check for understanding. And at the end of every single one of them, it has a quiz. All right, you see right here is a virtual lab. In these virtual labs, they will have something that the students can manipulate.
You learned how biotic. In the first part of this lab, you'll model how pollution enters and flows.
And I know you are going, I don't teach science. I'm a math teacher. Well, I'm a science person, so deal with it.
Welcome to the guide for.
All right, so I'm going to start the lab, and you can see I can drag and drop and add. So it's got some manipulatives in there, and the student can gather information that way through the virtual lab. So that is a course structure. If I went through here, I would take notes and go, I really like the first part, the surface water. I do not like the groundwater, because once a student is assigned this course, they have free play, which means they can jump around wherever they want to. So they can move around. So you can't specifically assign this in Edgenuity to just do the groundwater warm up. What you have to do is in Schoology, tell them you want to go to Edgenuity 7A.2. I want you to do the groundwater warm up. You're going to have to put that inside of Schoology's instructions. Okay. So again, I got there by going to course and course structure, and then selecting by grade level, semester, and by the 3 weeks. Does it work every time? No. In fact, when I was training, I believe it was 7th grade, a teacher had to find it for me because we just kept clicking and clicking and clicking. All right. So that's how you go and find material to put into your groups. Let's create a group. So I'm going to go to students and manage user groups. You can see I have all these groups I've already created and added students and other trainings. But to create a group, you just click add new group. and you name it, I recommend naming it by the period. I wouldn't go by my sections that I have in Schoology where it's, so broken up and you have 800 of them. I would just go by first and second period. And do I have one of those? That is E, just in case I do. Click save, and you can see there's my group right there. So I'm good. I've created a group. I go in and create all the groups that you want. Again, this is going to be up to a campus, to a grade level, to a department decision on how you want to use Edgenuity. Do you want to just use it for small groups, for tutoring? Do you want to use it for allow it for all your students? That's something you are going to have to decide, and that'll kind of help you name your groups. So there's my group. I'm good. Now I want to put some students in that group. I go to students, manage students. Now, right now I'm at Garcia Middle School. So now I'm able to see all the students for Garcia Middle School. This is kind of like how Mayan was set up, where you had to create your own. You had to create your own groups, but you just had your courses. This is not tied to eSchool at all. You are going to have to go through and create each group yourself. So this student's in my class, this student's in my class, this student's in my class. You get the point. As I go down, and you saw when I checked just one student, it says add to group right here. So I go through and I check my students. I click add to group. I go to that group I want to put them in. And this is very important, so you just don't get out of here because nothing's done yet. I select that, and then I hit the plus sign. And now those students have been added to that group. So let me run through that one more time. I go to students, manage students. I select the students that I want to add to the group. I click add to group. I select the group I want them in, and then I click the plus sign. Okay, now let's give them some content. So I'm going to go to my groups, and I'm going to go to this first and second period, which I just created. And those are my students. Doesn't make a lot of sense because I got different kind of grade levels, but this is just an example. I have to delete this as soon as I'm done. So I want to add the 7.4a, whatever it was, to these students. As soon as I select a student, you will see I'll get a drop down and it says enroll in course. Now, if I select on another student, that goes away. So what that means is I can only do one student at a time. So I click on one student, I go to enroll in course, and to make this a little easier on myself, I'm going to do a little filtering. I can go to grade, and I can go to the subject, and I can click apply. And I'm going to put them in 7A.4, and I click enroll. So now that student has all access to that course. I go to my next student, select them, enroll in course, and I do the same thing. Science, 7th grade. And I didn't select that. Yeah, 7th grade. Come on, why are you not coming up? Oh, I didn't hit apply. Science, and click apply. Select it and click enroll. And now my students are in there. Now let's say further down the road, students are doing work and I want to take stuff for a grade, or I just want to check to see how they're doing and track them. How I do that is I go to reports, dashboard. And this will fill up with the data that Edgenuity collects. You'll see it has a grading area that you can go in and see the students' grades and actually collect the grades. You can see how much time they spent on something, and you can see how long they've spent inside of a course, just depending on how you want to use this. But you will get that data by going to reports, dashboard. You can also click on course and look at the grades too and their progress to see how they're doing and how much they've done. And then when you're done, if you want to put it in your grade book, it has that export to Excel button right there, which when this fills up with students, it'll probably be at the bottom. All right. If you have any questions, we are here for you. I'm sure you do. We will activate your accounts if they are not already activated. To find out if your account is activated or not, go to Schoology, go to Add Materials, go to Add File Link External Tool, go to External Tool, go to Tool Provider, select Edgenuity, title it, and there you go. If you can click on it and you're able to click on Educator and get in, you're good. Now, some ways to assign Edgenuity through Schoology is you could do it through updates. You can see, go to Edgenuity and do 6AB.2 warm up 1. You could assign it through updates, or you could assign it through assignments and click add material, add assignment, and type out your instructions and put a due date on it if you'd like it that way. All right. Question time.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and you have the instructions right there, and the instructions are step by step. If there are any questions, I know Todd had a question. Do we have individually add it to each course, or can we put one and copy it to all the other courses? So how you have to think about this is that the courses are, and if you're good, you can leave the stream. If you have questions, please stay on. There is a delay. It's about 30 seconds, so it might take 30 seconds to get to your questions. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, adding students. So once you create those groups are just to organize your students and keep them in a place where you can go find them. You check the students box and you're adding the student to the course. And again, they do have free range, so they're able to move around. Right now, at the beginning they weren't, but right now they should be able to move around. So you have to give them specific instructions that what part of the course you want them to do. Again, you do not have to use this. This is not mandatory. This is something you and your department need to talk about on how you're going to use. Are you going to use it with all your students? Are you going to make small groups and bridge those gaps? That's up to your department on your campus. So we'll hang out a little bit for any more questions.
Make sure if you haven't signed in, make sure you sign in so we can get your name and get your
Yeah, and you'll be activated today. As soon as we finish all this, we have another training in about 10 minutes. As soon as we finish all this, then we will activate your accounts. And give us some feedback too. If you like this style where it's kind of sit and get and go on your way, if you're an early bird, let us know. We'd like to do more of these. We are early birds.
Mr. Tish, go ahead and just email me those questions that you may have.
Ask a totally unrelated question. Oh, you're getting it before I am.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to sign out. If you have any questions, just email us. We are going to get prepared for the next session. Thank y'all for coming out early this morning. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.